Thank you so much for keeping us company. In studio now, we do have Mr. Dan Mugambi. He is the CEO and founder of Dankiz Africa, Dankiz Arts and Creations Limited. Dan is an interior designer. He's an architect. He's also involved in construction and manufacturing. Well, the company is involved in construction and manufacturing. They are located in Nyali and they have a factory in Kongowea. Dan, good morning.
Good morning to you.
And welcome back.
Asante sana.
Yes. So Dan was here last week, Wednesday,
yes.
And he shared a story about how he started his business and that led now to Dankiz Arts. If you have not watched that episode, I would urge you to go watch it because there's a lot to unpack. It's on YouTube at Swahilipot FM. Nenda pale, you'll find that conversation. Today, it's a continuation from where we left your last week's story, where you said you set up a business. Your first business, you set it up. That was for the printing, the printing business.
Yes.
You set it up, but then you felt like you had to let it go. Yeah, because it was dragging you down.
Yeah.
And so locked everything, left it there, didn't sell anything, and walked away and went on to set up now your design business.
Yeah.
Now I want to pick it from, there's something you talked about, a partner. When you said when you choose a life partner of the right mindset, then you go a long way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What role did your partner play into the person you are right now?
Okay, in this case, the partner then currently is my wife.
Yes.
So one of the things it does is it sets you to have number one fun. Let's start there. At least there's someone who believes in you when every other person doesn't feel as if this thing will work. Secondly, there was a positivity that I didn't have before. You getting into a positive vibe of someone who, when you're in love and someone is supporting you, they're also giving you some kind of energy that, sometimes even you yourself, you don't believe you have.
True.
And then again, they also make sure that they tell you that this is the only way that it will work. Sometimes when you don't have options, you can't fail that first plan A. So there is this plan A with someone, and this plan A is the plan. There is no other plan.
Yeah.
So when you have such a person behind you who feels that this is it or there is nothing else, then things will work because it is like you are left with no options. Yeah. So for me, I think there was some kind of energy that was so positive, some kind of belief that I did not have on myself that she brought it in. There was a lot of support from her side, also financially as well. There are so many places I couldn't meet my bills. She was helping here and there. So it was a package. It is something that there's someone who saw a vision to invest in. Not so much in terms of money, yes, but when it was needed, it was there in small bits. Pocket money here and there. Struggling with fare sometimes. Give it rent. My rent in that place was 2,000 shillings in Tonoka. So sometimes she was coming through for that because, it's true that you can be in business, but even that 2Gs you can't afford. And also it also depends with your level of business and how much more expenses you have within yourself. So when you have someone who is not blinded by the current and seeing the future farther than yourself, then that's a person to go with.
Oh, so you need somebody who also sees that dream.
Yeah. It's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Now we go into you forming Dankiz Arts.
Yeah.
Yes. Walk us through that when you decided that now I'm shutting down this business. I want to get into design and I'm not looking back. How did you go to now growing it? Because now you're starting from scratch again.
Yeah. Let me say t-shirt business was more of a stepping stone.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I started from scratch because I didn't even change the name. The name remained Dankiz.
Okay.
I just added more wording, I would say, to cater for other aspects of business that I was handling, especially design, arts, and all that. So I did not. It was more of a transition.
Yes.
From that t-shirt industry, weddings and all those things. And one thing that stood out during my move to close this initial business was that I needed something that now I was feeling confident doing. This other one was more of something that was giving me my daily bread then. It was enabling me go through school because it was enabling me raise cash to pay school fees, to take care of my bills here and there. Also growth.
Yeah.
I was saving quite some substantial amounts with time. So when now I was moving into this other one, it was. Let me divert a bit. There's something called self-esteem. Being brought up the way I was brought up, going through the kind of life I went from when I was living up country with my grandmother, to coming to Mombasa, to being thrown out, to so many things that happened at that point. And then also when I came to Mombasa, also I had told you the story about me trying to learn Swahili. I had failed terribly in my first from class 1 to class 8. So I was carrying a lot of baggage of negativity. I was sometimes, it makes you feel as if you are a lesser human being or you're a lesser child. And then also you're comparing yourself with other children you're seeing around, especially in church and other groups, at other places that you meet people. So for me, self-esteem was negative, purely negative. And also I would wanted at some point to feel as if I would want to prove something to people. And the first business was not giving me a future, that I was seeing that I would do something for self to prove self to people. So when I was getting into now something that I was schooled for, I was enlightened about, I had gotten a little bit of experience, even if it was theoretical from school, it started giving me some confidence, that positive confidence, and also now that built my self-esteem. And then somehow the negative esteem was fading, and I needed something that could hold this current wave of trying to build another character in me, another person. So the transition was to enable me to also live a life that I was seeing for the future. And what would give me that, of course, it wasn't my initial business. I was honestly, from then I would see how far the design industry would take me, because it was such a huge industry, especially when you talk about real estate, construction, booming, and all those things. And also the possibilities of, there is something when you study outside the country. Mine was different though, because I didn't physically go there, but I got a curriculum that was not meant for this country. You firsthand get things that are evolving faster than your country. You're exposed to people who are thinking differently. My classmates at that point were people who, their context of life is different. So the things they would talk about during some of those live sessions, were very interesting to me, and so curiosity grew. So by the time I'm coming to launch a business here of the same type, my thinking is not Kenya. My setting is different. Yes, I am supposed to tailor make it to my industry, but my exposure was different, was bigger than my market. So then also that one gives me so much confidence that this thing has so much potential for the future, and the growth is inevitable. And it so happened. I haven't been yet where I want to be so far, but I would say I've been in business for almost 19 years now, conclusively. But since when I registered the company in 2011, that's more than 10 years still. And I would say I have seen the transition of growth. So answering the bit of the reality after stopping and starting, especially stopping something that was already working and starting something new that it makes you feel as if you're venturing into a new industry. It was scary, that's the truth. There was belief, yes. There was a future that I was seeing, yes. But there was nothing tangible, at that point, There were bills piling. There were needs still. I was married then. So there was there was moments of truth when, I felt as if I made the wrong decision. But also there were moments that were solidifying or putting adding confidence in the decision that I had made. By seeing some of my people who, in terms of clients, who there was a belief they had in me that was very interesting. at some point I had mentioned that we had done a Swahili telenovela, several of them with a friend called Ruben Odanga. So Ruben, who is a director of several TV shows currently in Kenya, he's someone who gave me a platform that was unreal, I would say. He saw some creativity that I wasn't seeing.
Yeah.
You know, some of those things I was feeling as if they're not marketable. I feel they are not, you know, come on, you are shy, you know, representing yourself out there. But the guy was seeing something different, and he gave me a platform to do set for some of the TV shows. And now looking back, especially now when I was watching the shoot, and then you see, you know, the screen, and you start seeing the set, you realize, man, I'm the one who created that.
Yeah.
The lighting, the decor on the walls, the choices of color, the choices of so many things, like, you know, setup for furniture, the type of furniture, the things, as in basically the set made by me was something that I had not thought, especially now thinking of my context where I have grown up and where my dreams were limited to, you know. So then that one, honestly, with time then built up, and it's the one that has brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan.
Yeah.
Kwa yule ambaye kwamba unamzungumzia sasa hivi, kijana ambaye kwamba anakuwa ana mtazamo mkubwa wa siku za baadaye, vile wewe ulivyokuwa kutoka kufunga ukaanza upya, ni kitu gani ambacho kwamba kilikuonyesha kwamba huku ninakokwenda unaacha biashara ya printing na nini, na unataka kufocus kwenye hii nyingine ambayo kwamba ni mpya lakini pia hujafanya? Ni kitu gani, kuna sababu gani ambazo kwamba zilikufanya hii acha niachane nayo? Kwa nini ukaona kwamba huku ndiko mahali ambapo kwamba kutakufikisha kwa ndoto zako? Ni vitu gani ambavyo kwamba vilikusukuma ukapata huo msukumo?
Naweza sema one, katika maisha kuna kitu inaitwa chapters.
Okay.
Ninaweza sema kwamba chapter yangu nilifeel kwamba wakati huo ni wakati wa kuifunga, nifikie ingine. But also ukiangalia katika hesabu zangu kutoka mwanzo, hiyo biashara ya t-shirts ilikuwa ni ya kuanzia, na nilipoitwa kufanya architecture ilikuwa UN nilipoitwa in 2007 yes. Ilikuwa dhibitisho ya kwamba nina kitu tofauti yenye naweza offer apart from t-shirt printing. Secondly, for me it was ilikuwa ni kitu ya ni ile unataka kufanya kitu ukitarajia ingine. Hapa sio mwisho. Kwa sababu tukiongea kuhusu dreams za watu, dreams ni hata saa hii kile ninacho sahi in terms of the current setting. Sasa all of a sudden, na let's just for example niko ni dreams zangu za huu mwaka nimeweza kufikisha. Let's say 2024 iliyopita, last year. Na nilikuwa let's 2024 early 2024 niliplan kwamba by March or let's say by June, which is realistic, there are this and this and this and this I want to have achieved. Na ifike umeachieve hata before June. Sina maanisha sasa unaendelea ku dream. Au utasema acha June ipite nianze ku dream tena. So for me I think it was I'm a visionary. I wouldn't lie, or maybe I wouldn't put it more like I'm bragging about it. But I'm a visionary person. I don't like seeing things stagnate, even my own life. Natakanga kuona vitu kizisonga. Na nikiachieve hiki nataka kile, hiki nataka kile. Na hiyo Kenya inafanya saa nyingine hata ni msukumo kutoka kwa Mungu saa nyingine. Kwa sababu let me give you an example. Nikiwa nafanya t-shirts niko na employee mmoja ambaye hata kumlipa ilikuwa ni shida. Sasa hii niko na employees karibu 100. Actually zaidi ya 100 literally. Hao watu wote wanapata pesa kutoka kwa hii kazi tunafanya. Hii kazi yenye ningebakia pale kwa t-shirt ningekuwa na employees let's say mwisho zaidi wa 10. Hapo ni wale sasa nimepata distributors hapa, watu wa kushona, labda nataka kuproduce wenyewe t-shirt zangu na nini. But still ukiangalia ni saa nyingine uwezi jua maombi za watu wakiomba wanaombea nani. Mtu akiombea mtoto wake apate kazi, hata labda directly hizo maombi zinaanzaliwa tu wewe ndio unabarikiwa utengeneze hiyo kazi ili mtoto wa yule mwenye anaomba apate hiyo kazi, you know. So for me ningesema msukumo haukuwa kwangu peke yake, ni kitu nilidhania kwamba ninataka mara ya kwanza nilitaka kujiproof. Nilo una feel mazee maisha haijaenda venye ningetaka kutoka mwanzo, na nimeishi katika hali ya kutoa afford vitu. Nimeishi katika hali ambayo nimekuwa naambiwa tuko hivi, sisi ni maskini, nyinyi mwezi hivi. Kwetu familia nzima in terms of my uncles and my aunties, wakati huo hakuna mtu hata mmoja alikuwa na kitu kama gari, literally. Hata even when I was growing up, I didn't even have a friend who had a friend who had a car. It's something I wouldn't call it a basic, but a car is something common nowadays, So
unasema gani ni necessity squeeze.
So unakuta sasa ni ile setting yako, una feel mimi kwa sasa niko hapa, lakini like someone said here, ipo siku, nilikuwa na t-shirt ngome print nimeandika hapa one day.
Uko nayo
bado sina hiyo t-shirt sahi, but nilikuwa nimejiprintia nimeandika one day.
Yes. I think it's more like having a dream and saying I want to be somewhere.
Yes.
And because you don't want to be in the same space.
Yes.
Every single time. So you want to see some sort of growth in your life. And if you had not shut down that business, you wouldn't have done what you've done right now. And also the people I was interacting with then, the caliber of thinking, the setting in terms of where they were employed, some of those things, they somehow take a beat on you, because you start feeling as if mediocre is common and is okay. Yes, and I think what I'm picking from your story a lot is your environment, and then even the people that you associate with, how the kind of influence they might have on your life. And one can tell that you're selective, and the fact that you positioned yourself or placed yourself in certain environments exposed you, to a different way of thinking. So it really matters for somebody, a young person who's thinking environment, why do I need to change my environment? How can my environment shape me? I feel like you're an example of how the environment can shape somebody.
Environment is key. The truth is, if you put your closest friends together, assuming there are 2 or 3, if you have 10 close friends, then there's something wrong about you. Unfortunately, that's what I believe. Keep a close. If you have more than, as in you have watu ambao unaita close friends, best friends, if I may put it like that, and you have like 10, 8, 20, 15 people, there's something totally wrong with you. How do you get time for all those people? Because you see, friendship is investment. And unless they are friends in your life and you know their friend, who is the friend in that friendship. So in my circle, I have 3-4 guys max. Actually, I would put 4, because one moved to Nairobi. Now I have 3 here, but the one who Nairobi, we keep constant conversations. The 2 other, now me making 3, they are movers also in this industry. They are bigger people when it comes to helping me think or helping me develop my dream capacity. They are not just, I'm not the best in that group, I would say. So what that does is it challenges you to become. And becoming is a process. My best man, who turned to be my wedding best man, Ruben Odanga, is a big guy here currently in Kenya. So the people you associate yourself with, even the bigger circle, not necessarily even the close circle. I also have friends that I've grown with from that age of ACK, when I used to attend that church and then transformed to Word of Life and all that. The people I grew up from there, the people who took a shape, because not everyone though, but people who took better shape in life, I've kept contact, and they influence you differently. They're the same people who now supply us businesses where they're employed, for example, or where they run businesses. Honestly, most of the people that I know nowadays are either GMs somewhere, CEOs somewhere, movers of places, whereby when there are opportunities to be given to people out there, they don't think twice. They recommend me firsthand, without conflict of interest, but because I prove to deliver, So the people you associate yourself with matters a lot. Let me give you just a small Nini. When I was in Tononoka, I had a friend, a very close friend of mine, who used to work for University of Nairobi, here Mombasa campus. He was, let me call it a janitor, someone who takes care of cleanliness around everywhere, from toilets to making sure the desks are well arranged, clean, classes, and all those things. At some point, he got an accident. And then he was almost being fired because he had stayed for so long without reporting back to work, even after that period of sick leave elapsed. So I was forced by circumstances, through being a friend, to step in for him for a while. And I did for almost a month plus. And I used to rauka, go to University of Nairobi, fagia, fanya hizi vitu zote panga. And the most painful bit about the whole of that scenario was nilikuwa napangia wanafunzi wanakuja kusoma mahali mimi nilitoa shule na nikashindwa ku afford. It was very painful if you think about it. It was not, I wasn't called in this campus, yes, but it was the same setting. It was the same. When in the evening I'll go to Coast Girls, arrange desks there. They had hired some classrooms there. Then wait for the classrooms, for the classes to iziishe jioni. I rearranged the seats back the following day, the same routine. And some of those things honestly inspired me to be better. To not allow myself be looked upon down, and I stay there. Someone can look down on you and you decide, and it affects you, and then you just end up there, and then it just becomes a deteriorating kind of a situation. For me, I decided, this is it now. Now it is happening, it's reality. But the future can be different, and it became.
I like that.
Moja kati ya changamoto ambazo vijana wamekuwa nazo sasa ni mambo ya muda. Wewe umekuwa katika biashara hii kwa muda sasa. Lakini ili kuchukua pengine muda gani ndio sasa uanze kusema kwamba angalau sasa umeanza kuwa stable katika hii biashara, apart from ile ya t-shirt print? Kwa sababu vijana wengi ni ile anataka aanze na ndio hivyo apenye, lakini ni ngumu. Shaachana.
Ngumu. Let me say, kila mtu ana bahati yake. Kuna wengine pia wanafanyikia hivyo, especially entrepreneurs. But the true nature of business is steps. And the more you take the steps slowly, the harder for you to fall. Most small businesses fall within the first 5 years. And if you survive that, there's something different you're doing. And especially if you do business and you respect the business, whereby you follow the rules that guide a business. No, usichukue pesa ya biashara. Pesa ya biashara si yako, jilipe mshahara hata kama ni kidogo. Separate yourself from the business basically. And ukifanya hivyo biashara yako itanawiri. Lakini kusema kwamba ati leo umenini sasa unataka kupeleka gari kama ya mtu fulani na huyo mtu amekuwa kwa biashara. Kama mimi nimekuwa kwa biashara miaka mingi sana. Sija employee by the way. Na nikisema hiyo miaka yote from 2007 till nikamaliza shule, nikaanza hii nyingine tisho, nikiendelea till 2011 nikaregister Dankiz officially. 2015 when I came back from Nigeria, 2017 2016 ndio vitu zilianza kukaa sawa. Na wakati nilikuwa nimejaribu vitu vingi sana. Na nilienda mpaka even especially things like capital, financial capital, because there are different types of capitals. I had gone even to I went to even Lions Den. You remember the Lions Den that was on NTV? I was there. I was given an offer. I refused because I felt that the offer was not within the value that I was selling. But all that I did to try to put up something that people were not seeing. I needed an investor. So I would say the quick it comes, the quick it goes. Vile mbio inakuja nayo. Kuna rafiki yangu mwingine alikuwa na rafiki yake ambaye nilikuwa nakaa Nairobi. I had a project in Nairobi at some point. So kuna rafiki yangu nilikuwa nakaa kwake for the 1 month or so, nilikuwa nakaa kwake. So alikuwa na rafiki yake mwingine alikuwa anafanya kazi ya cyber somewhere in Busia or Bungoma County, somewhere there. Then katika ile hali counties zikianza pale, akapata tender ya kusupply stationery. Alipolipwa, the first thing I know ni Makex wakati huo. Makex was a big hot cake. Akanunua Makex. Akakaa Nairobi hata akasahau kazi ya furniture. Whatever, stationery. Cyber yake ikawa ameachia mtu huko. Haikuka. Because those are short term dreams. And that's what I'm saying, ile kitu nataka haraka. Hiyo pesa kama wewe hujazoea kuhandle 10,000. Ukipo hiyo 10 haitakusaidia. Hata utakumbuka iliisha vipi. Same thing. So when you grow slowly or with systems, and you grow gradually, and you grow let me say organically, what happens is also the level of handling maturity comes, and level of maturity of money. And money is the key devil when it comes to, it can be an angel and a devil at the same time when it comes to businesses. And when you grow in the systems the way things are supposed to go, whether accelerated slightly because maybe you get people to finance you here and there, that's good, okay. But that gradual growth gives you so much financial discipline and also how to handle as it comes, such that you can't mess up easily, unless you just become greedy in the future. But things just grow and become so stable in a way that you don't understand. So all of a sudden, there's a time I was given a check of 10,000 shillings. I didn't know even what to do with it. I didn't know whether to take it to my bank, to their bank, to it. So me, I stayed with it in the house for nilikaa nayo karibu mwezi moja. Nikarudi kwa hiyo kampuni nikauliza, sasa hii pesa yangu haingii, hii receipt ilifanya nayo ni so wakaniambia inafaa kupeleka kwa banki yangu. Na sikuwa na bank wakati huo, sikuwa na bank account, na sikujua mimi nilikuwa na jina najiita Dankiz at lakini sikuwa nimeregister. I didn't have so many things. I was banking and informally, I would say, whereby I keep money in your mattress, niko na kibank. I had that discipline, but I didn't have a bank account. So some of these things, especially the terminologies, the jargon in the industry, you learn them when you go slow. When you just want to rush things, all of a sudden you don't understand anything. Then you become someone who now a social media kind of an enthusiast who is a celeb wa biashara, lakini we mwenye kibiashara there's nothing.
Now let's talk about partnership. As you're creating Dankiz Arts, did you have any partners?
No, I slightly had a partner, and the reason I'm saying slightly is because during that period when I was forming Dankiz as a name in high school, I had a friend of mine who we did together. It's called Ben Kilonzi. So Ben Kilonzi, K-I-Z, and me Dan. My name is D-A-N. It's not Danson, not Daniel, just Dan. So D-A-N plus K-I-Z became Dankiz. But kibiashara atuku rhyme.
What happened?
I was more of a risk taker. I was moving faster. He also had parents who were thinking different in terms of him doing business at that stage. My needs were more, I would say. They were I wouldn't say they're well off, but they were quite stable. He could afford his life. I wasn't, sorry. So with factors not aligning, and for me, I moved on. So we had no formal inquiry or formal there was nothing that was binding us in terms of registration, even name, nothing. So I just proceeded with it. So then later I tried to do business with people. Not formally per se, but you get a project you do together. I started realizing we are not in the same wavelength. And sometimes some people won't understand you, but if you realize that in advance, then go solo. Because what happens with partnerships are good because they bring in two strengths. Another person's strength, your strength. Partnerships also sometimes they bring critique, whereby when you're alone, sometimes you go for it, then fall, and then you come to realize the hard way. Partnerships sometimes also they bring in a reasoning factor, whereby one person is a risk taker, another one is not, and then the other one please bring some sanity in it. But again, you can't work without risks. Then also partnerships all bring in, if they're good, but if they're not well structured, if everyone does, each person, for example, there are partnerships whereby one partner is the one who is a full-time employee of that business or does the business full-time. The other one is more of a partner, but maybe employed elsewhere, maybe doing other things. That's usually a very dangerous format, because what happens is, if there are no structures, for example, the person working full-time to be appreciated by a salary, and then at the end of it, both of them feel as if it should the earning should be split half. Then one person feels cheated. Secondly, the person doing it full time also sometimes they cheat as well, whereby they are mtu anakula pesa ama anazitumia vibaya, there is misappropriation of funds and many things. Then hiring becomes a problem because you have to consult everyone. There are some spontaneous decisions you can't make when you are in partnerships. So unless partnerships are there is a whole governing thing like a constitution or something that you get an agreement that actually stipulates each person's role in it. Somehow with time one person feels disgruntled with so many issues. Sometimes need trust of money, sometimes is roles, sometimes someone feels we anahaya watu incompetent ama watu wao, sometimes so partnerships are good. I wouldn't say they're not, because again it depends with the work. the capacity, because sometimes when you bring in resources together, you go faster. Networks as well, they work faster because you bring different networks, different capabilities, different energies. But for me, going solo was the best decision because there are some decisions that I make spontaneously and they are so, as in matunda zaidi, honestly. Some decisions also, some opportunities also don't give you time to think. Some opportunities need you to be a good entrepreneur at that moment and to make a decision. And when you make a decision, you make and die with it. So you also don't want a blame game whereby someone tells you, oh, I told you, don't go this. Some of those things bring wrangles. The flip side of me being alone is now I take tension alone. When things are not working, uko peke yako. When things are thick, the problems ni zako. And again, it's okay. You need to be molded. There is nothing that just comes. Even timber is shaped into a furniture. Even pottery is done to become something. The plates that mtu anasemanga nataka ile imejikunja hivi kwa sababu ya mchuzi, si ndio? Hiyo pia ilitengenezwa hivyo. Na ndio maana kuna nyingine iko flat. So things are made. So even you, the journey in entrepreneurship has to be made. You have to allow moments of bad moments to come. You have to allow bad days to come, bad debt, KRA, all those things. They need to be on your way. Because if you get soft landing every time, anytime a big wave comes, utaanguka.
What would you say? I mean, having run Dankiz Arts and Creations for, you've said 19 years now. What would you say was your most trying moment?
Several. There are as you grow and as you scale, growth also comes with needs. One of the needs is capital injection, and especially financial capital specifically. Sometimes you get projects whereby they drain you so much to a point that yes, you're seeing the earnings in future, but the future is not now, and now you need money. I have had trying moments whereby I've lost people in terms of employees or clients. I thought this would be a good deal, and the project didn't turn out very well. Projects which ended up not being paid. But one of our clients is Bamburi Cement, and Bamburi Cement, what they do, they don't give you a deposit. They give you work and sort yourself. As long as you have the LPO, deliver, get paid. They pay, by the way, in good time. Once you certify, the people in departments clarify that everything is okay, in good shape. They sign the paperwork, they upload, you are paid. So there's this project we are doing. Then they added another project. So you see what happens when you get into a system of some of these big companies. They pre-qualify you, and then now when things come up, everyone is sent to tender. There are some which are more specified, for example, which needs more technique of your, where you're leaning. Then you get more favor. For example, there are projects whereby not everyone is given to tender because of the expertise needed. So 3 projects came at the same time, and 3 projects, I mean 3 projects, as in big time projects, and they need to raise a lot of money at the same time, knowing that also I have running capital that I need to protect. I don't want people not to fail to go to the sites because they don't have fare. There is no petty cash. There is no this. So there is a point it brought in so much pressure, because even when you go to the banks, one, you're sharing your profits. Secondly, for tenders, you realize that most times, apart from expertise, of course, they consider the cost. And especially if it's a tight budget, they go with the lowest cost, because the reason why they are pre-qualified you, they mean that you've everyone within that range of pre-qualification has capacity to deliver. So they're not worried about quality most of the times. So price plays a key role. So when you have a budget that now you also have to share with the bank, your earnings won't be the best. But sometimes you accept na unakula yako at least usikose kufanya hiyo kazi. But also the level, I had not borrowed all that time. I did not have any credit history. And I've run Dankiz Arts credit free. Every assets, everything we've achieved, everything was through savings. Our workshop is more than 40 million worth in terms of equipment. And I'm not talking about the value of the business, but in terms of equipment there that we've bought physically. And all that money was cash. And cash was basically saving.
Yeah.
Saving takes a lot of time. So that's another problem. So this project, what happened is because of no credit history, I couldn't, no bank nyingi as much as hata kama uko na very good cash flow and you can actually see it, a good bank statement. The fact that you've never borrowed scares people, especially when you want big money. Because I wasn't looking for 5 million, 10 million. I was looking for big money. Nakwambia ilifika siku nikaanza because now wao wananipiga pressure nianze. So hii nishaanza. Kwingine nataka kokoto, napigiwa siku na umepeleka kokoto lete lori 2 jana. Na hizo lori 2 each was let's say 50 Gs each. Ni hiyo lori kubwa. All of a sudden napigiwa na mbao kokoto imeisha, kesho hatuna. Tuleka ingine, kesho kuto tutakachuma, tutaka hile. I remember I went to Nyali Golf. I parked my car by the shade. I leaned my seats and I cried. I cried. As in, nile unalia, not because you're emotional, but you want to cry something out. Nile ni ikutoke, literally. But ongea ikutoke, ili kulia, lia ikutoke. I cried. And I slept. I slept for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then I woke up. I went to the loo, washed my face, and I went back. And I began afresh. I began looking things more constructively.
Yeah.
I did another analysis of what I need. So one of the things that I made was a strategy. Of course, we normally have a schedule of works. So I took the schedule of works, I put it together. I actually enlisted the things I need in the immediate factor. I went for suppliers. I contacted a few of suppliers that I had worked with in some of the projects I had bought cash. Because of course you create industry partners with time. So I went to some hardwares here, Makupa Steel. I want steel. I want chuma. I have this project. This is the LPO. It's not a lie. I'll pay you once I'm paid, but I can't guarantee you that I'm paying you anytime soon. Are you willing? How far are you willing to stretch your credit? So I get chuma worth 400 Gs here. I get this worth this much. And that's how I survived. So I was left working with labor. And then labor also, because I have a big number of people who work for us who are employees, full-time employees. So that labor you worried for end month only. Within the week, au vibarua ni kiasi, ni kidogo. And also the people you can take in such places because of gate passes and all that, you have to take people who are working for you almost full time. So that one enabled me now to stretch the nini. So those are some of that was one of the most trying moments that, you're not in a small business. You can't say that I'm now growing. I've reached a place people envy and wish they were at. But it's also hot. It's not as easy as people see.
The journey wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like that. We're out of time again, right? We're
Another
out of
day.
Time when
Out of
Dan
time.
is here.
Dan.
Yeah, we're out of time again. Man, Dan Mugambi, thank you so much for again sharing your story and talking about the challenges. And I will still say, when somebody follows your story, they can see the journey, they can see the struggle, they can see the challenges, and they can see it's more like the resilience, the grit, that idea of like, I need to push on. That's what I love about your story each and every time. And I think every day, and this is the second time, I'm getting different takeaways. Last time when you came in, I felt like, okay, there's more that I need to do, right? And for now, this takeaway is also taking me back to resilience. And when you feel like you've hit a wall, you can reset. Restructure. So thank you so much for creating time. Social media, how can they get you? And then also just tell us again your for somebody who's thinking about your service and they want to use your service again, where can they get you?
We have 2 locations, physical locations. Next to Ratna Square, on your way to Nyali, on the right side, just before Ratna Square gate, we have our office there. It's written Dankiz Arts and Creations Limited. We have a production godown, which is more of a factory in Kongowea. We have office contacts that I can give if allowed. My social media handles are different. One for Facebook is Mugambi Dan. For Instagram is Dankiz CEO. For IG is Dankiz CEO.
Yes.
For company is the same company name at Dankiz Arts and Creations Limited, everywhere across all social media handles. Also I'm on very active on Twitter, which is X currently.
Yeah.
With the same name, Dankiz CEO.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to our services, you can visit our website as well to check what we do, www.dankizarts.com. And maybe I can give our office number just in case, if I'm allowed.
It's okay, you're allowed.
Yeah,
No worries,
so our office number is just a minute. Our office number is 07. Sorry, I have many, so I'm avoiding to.
But we just give the website.
Yeah.
Yes.
www.dankizarts.com. That's our main website.
Yes.
It does everything you need there. But you can contact us on 011 54 00300. 011 54 00300.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking to Dan Mugambi. He's the CEO and founder of Dankiz Arts and Creations Limited, an interior design, architecture, construction, and manufacturing company. Of course, they are located in Nyali, and they also have their factory in Kongowea. From us to you, we are saying bye. It's been a good morning. It's been a good day. The weather is doing what it's supposed to be doing every single day. So, adios.